All right, hey YouTube, welcome back to my Skillet tier list. All right, this time I'm going to be doing Alien Youth. It's been a long time since I've done a tier list, but last time was like a few months ago. I did Invincible. I know it's been a good minute, but I wanted to come back and finish this. I don't think I forgot about it. I've just been busy, and I've recently started to do shorts. Right, a bunch of mixes that I just did on my own time. I was just doing that, and I uploaded them because I've had them in storage, and I wanted other people to give their opinion, whether it's good or bad. So. And as far as the instrumentals and karaoke's, I'm still trying to do that. Um, so yeah, this time I'm gonna be doing the Alien Youth songs. Now, there's a lot I want to say about Alien Youth, the album as a whole, but I'll probably do it as time goes by. So let's start off with Alien Youth itself. Now, I do remember my rule for like I got all these categories. My rule is that when it comes to favorites, I can't put more than three in favorites because if it was up to me, I'd put everything in favorites. We got S tier as the best songs, from like a neutral standpoint, as in there's no bias behind it. As if I'm like a regular person and I'm looking in, I can kind of understand that this song is good or whatnot. So like if it was a single, I could understand that this would be a good song. And obviously, C is the worst one. I don't think there's any Skillet song that's worse than a C. Honestly, worse than a B. C is like the lowest. I don't think I've ever given a song a C yet, but there is a few things I don't really particularly like about this album that I will actually admit. So first things first, with Alien Youth, I think Alien Youth is I say it's A. I do remember in the last ones I had like a in between S and A, in between A and B, that type of stuff. Like in the middle. Uh, I think Alien Youth is it's kind of in between, to be honest. But I'm not sure. I like the song a lot, and I think it's really catchy. I think it captures the essence of the album really well. But it's kind of like the mainstream version of this album in a sense because it's really short. It's really straight to the point. There's not really anything like complicated or unique about the song itself. I do like the music video as well. I like the Matrix influences. I like a lot of things about this song specifically. It's just that it's kind of simple. You could start to see the modern Skillet kind of seeping into this a little bit because their lyrics are becoming simplistic. It's becoming more easy to understand. Their themes are kind of being put out there and where it kind of makes sense. And I know this is kind of I don't know if controversial is the word, but I particularly do not like that in a sense. I like vague and mysterious type of lyrics. Um, I like the concept of Alien Youth as a whole in the album. It's just the lyrics themselves. It really just it's a huge change from the first two albums. Invincible was it had his some uh what's the word I'm looking for, some vagueness to it. Uh, but Alien Youth itself is just I feel like this would be one of the songs that people would like from the album more so. Um, so I would say it probably would be a S. I don't know. It's really hard to measure the song as a whole because maybe I'll figure it out as time goes on. But let me see. Is there anything else I want to say? I do like the bridge. Is that what they call it before the final chorus when he's like, and we're not gonna leave this world, and we're not gonna lead. It's like a little Matrix effect they did. I like that. I do remember reading about this. John said it was inspired by the Matrix itself, and during the time that this was recorded, the Matrix was like around. It was released around that time, so this album itself is just like really old. Um, the chorus is really catchy, really fun, upbeat. It's one of the only songs on here that I think is actually not overly is the word saturated I'm looking for. I don't know, but A is pretty good. Maybe I'll bump it up to S. I'll see. I might change my mind as time goes on. So here's Vapor now. uh Actually, looking at this list, I don't think there'll be anything I will put into C, but let's see. I say Vapor is a B. uh yeah, I don't think there's anything C worthy, but I can understand why people do not like old Skillet, and I don't know if I addressed this because it's been so long since I've done a tier list. I understand why people do not like old Skillet. Okay, it's their lyrics are kind of hard to understand. Their themes aren't really like they aren't relatable, and the actual instrumentals and stuff, they weren't really like all that. That doesn't matter to me. I'll be honest. Old Skillet for me is it's just really strongly influenced by nostalgia because I decided I liked the group so much I wanted to listen to the old stuff. And I might have even gaslit myself into believing I liked the song, even if I knew it was bad. But even now, I like the songs. Vapor is an interesting song specifically because when I had the album, for some reason I seem to have skipped this. This was, I think, the only song on the album that was just not on the album where I got it from. So it skipped. It went from Alien Youth. I don't even know if I had Alien Youth actually. I believe the first song was actually Earth Invasion, and I don't know what happened. I didn't get the first two. Specifically, I remember Vapor because I was like discovering. I was like, wait, this was on Alien Youth. I never even heard this. I listened to it. It was kind of catchy. The catchiness is really what carries the song itself because that's about it. Like, there's not much I can really say about this that's really positive or good. I don't think it's a bad song, but it's really just, I guess, weak is the word. I'm not trying to like hit any heavy words because I like this group. I'm not afraid to criticize them in a sense because they themselves criticize their old work, but listening to Vapor, I just don't really feel anything. Even though when I liked it and it was catchy back then when I listened to it. Nowadays, I just don't really particularly play it. And I don't see anything about it that's really special. The lyrics aren't really special. I'm a beep, I'm a vapor, I'm just a blinking light, and I'm about to evaporate. I mean, I guess it's on theme. I will say that much. This album is pretty good on comes to themes, but that's about it, honestly. I don't see a reason to put it above. All right, Earth Invasion. So Earth Invasion is going to either be an S or a favorites. For now, I'll put it in S. Like I said, only 3 songs in favorites because I can't really, because that'll be based on really biased critique and not actually about the song itself. So when it comes to the song itself, the reason I think Earth Invasion is really good is because it captures the essence of the album really well. It fits the themes. It's pretty good. Really catchy. It has that alien sense, the alien theme. I like that a lot. It really sounds like an alien song. So there are some things that I don't particularly like, but it's not necessarily Skillet's fault, and it's not about the song itself. It's just the entire album that's real. There's a really glaring issue that I'll talk about, especially for songs like Thirst Is Taking Over. I think that's the biggest one when I get to it. There is a issue I've had with the entire album that I'd never had before because when I listened to it, I didn't have good headphones. So I would just I had the muddy quality, version because I didn't have good headphones. So when I actually listened to the song with headphones, I realized I could hear it clearly, and then I could understand why, in fact, that there was an issue with certain things on this album. But Earth Invasion itself had it had that issue too. I'm not gonna lie, it did have that issue, especially in the chorus. You can hear like John singing, and then you hear the backup vocals. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's Corey in the back. I can't tell. That's kind of bad because I just can't. It's just so much happening on the screen, in my ears that it just sounds crazy. Even despite that, I will say that it does have a lot of nostalgia to it, and it's kind of making me a little biased. That's why I say it might probably be in a favorite. Now that I'm looking at this, I think it's pretty safe to put it in favorites. I don't know if it was S tier. I'm a sucker for songs that fade out. I am a sucker for those type of songs, right? Yeah, I love those type of songs. And I used to confuse this with another song. I'll get to it when I get there. But as far as the theme is concerned, it sounds good. The lyrics sound really good. I don't know where I put it, but definitely not B, okay? I wish I could talk more about it. It's just nothing has come to my mind. I thought I had more to talk about, but I guess not. Okay, so You Are My Hope. You Are My Hope is A. Now, there is an issue with the song that I don't have an issue with for the rest of the album. Specifically, the song itself. I think this song is, there's one song on every album that's just, in my opinion at least, just out of place. It just doesn't fit. This is that song. I don't understand why this is here. I don't think it fits the album at all. This is my opinion. I just don't think it fits the album at all. It's really just randomly placed here. It doesn't sound anything like the rest of the album. It sounds really upbeat and positive and happy. It just sounds like something they could have put on Collide instead, in my opinion, because they had a little more, right? It could have been cleaned up a little bit, have a little bit of a rawness to it. Maybe, maybe not, but I just don't personally think it fits on here as well, considering the rest of the album itself is just like it's kind of more industrial rock style, and this is just randomly placed here. I understand, right, that Skillet's name is just like I know John himself doesn't like the name, and he explains that it's just a mixture of everything in like a pan, and you can kind of see that in this album. There's just a mixture of so many things. I don't know if I would say it's good, but this song, the only reason I'm putting in A and not B specifically is because when I evaluate the song itself, it's pretty good. It's good. It sounds closer to modern Skillet, in my opinion, than it does older Skillet. The lyrics are easy to understand. It's religious without being too religious. Catchy, upbeat. It's nice. It's not bad in any sense. And the issue that I have with the biggest issue I have with the album is not really present on here because it just sounds so different from the rest of the album. So that's actually a saving grace. But that's about it. Besides that, it is catchy. It is catchy. I like the song. It's really happy, it's upbeat. Again, it just doesn't fit the album, in my opinion. There's just songs that I just don't think fits the album. I think I said last album in Invincible that what was the first song? Best Kept Secret. I don't think that fit the album. I think it would have fit this album much better. Eating Me Away. This is another favorite of mine. I would say that if I could put this in like a non-biased opinion, I would say it is A as well. There's this album so far. There's no S tiers, right? So there's A's, there's one B, and then most of them are favorites, right? I am pretty biased with this one. That's why it's a good place for me to put it, because I will be pretty biased about it. Eating Me Away used to confuse me a lot with Earth Invasion as back then, because I don't know. This is just my opinion. They do have similar sounds. They both fit this alien theme better than any song on the album, because it sounds like an alien theme, right? This one's lyrics sound less about aliens than Earth Invasion, but it for some reason strangely fits the album, and I like that. Now, the issue with this song itself is the same issue with Earth Invasion, and when I get to the Thirst Is Taking Over, I'll explain it right there why. Because that's the song that has like the biggest issue out of the entire like album, with my opinion. And Eating Me Away is just heavily biased, in my opinion, for me. That's why I can't really critique it or put it anywhere, because I just really like the lyrics, the song itself. It hits home for me. Really nostalgic, makes me feel really. If it makes me feel, then I gotta say it's definitely S tier, in my opinion. But most people might not agree. I don't know if there's anything else for me to say about it. I wish I could. It's just, this album itself is just really weird. There's some things about this album that I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here. All right, we're going to go ahead and get to the next one. Kill Me, Heal Me. All right. Now, this one is either S or A. Hold on. Nah, hey, I was thinking about it. I realized Kill Me, Heal Me has that same issue too that I'm going to talk about next. The lyrics, when I first heard this song, I was like, wow, this is kind of probably the heaviest on the album. At least up until when I first listened into it, because I was listening from top to bottom, right? So I didn't finish the album as I was listening to it, but it was heavy. It was on the heavier side. Kill Me and Heal Me it sounds similar to the rest of the album, so I'll give up that. The sound sounds similar to the rest of the album. It does have the theme in place. It can definitely hear the religious themes. And it's a good song, honestly. When you hear the instrumental, I didn't even know how good the instrumental was until I heard it. I like it. It's really catchy. It's really like something you can rock out to. The concept is really strange. I'm not sure if I understand it, but I like it. So the reason I don't put it in S tier is because I don't think there's anything strong about the song itself to really like put it above anybody else. It's a really good song, but it's not. I feel like it could just use a little bit more of something, some essence, in order to push it somewhere. But it just sounds like a regular song. This is my opinion. Like, I know this might sound controversial, but I don't feel like there's any real emotion behind the song itself. It's just really like a powerful type of song. It's just like, that's it. There's no real emotion. You Are My Hope. Let me put that up, actually. I forgot I'm ordering this. So You Are My Hope is better. And I think Alien Youth is also better. I think this one had emotion, right? Alien Youth also had some sort of emotion, in my opinion, and Kill Me and Heal Me, I don't feel like it did, and it doesn't really make me feel any emotion. It's just a good song to rock out to. That's just about it. Now, the issue I have with this song specifically is at the end of the song. The end of the song itself is the biggest issue. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. Everything will make sense when I get to the next song. So here's The Thirst Is Taking Over. This one I really wanted to talk about because this is the issue. This is the issue I have. The biggest issue of the entire album is from the song itself. It's weird because I want to put it in an S tier because I just like the song so much, but I cannot deny the things that I'm going to talk about that I don't like about it is just what kind of destroys that chance. So this is the biggest issue I hate. I don't know if hate. Yeah, I think hate is a pretty accurate word. I don't use this word often, but there is one thing that I just truly hate about this album: the production. The mixing is really just it really hurts me. Because and it's not Skillet's fault. It's they don't do the production right. The production, the mixing just sounds horrible. Like, to say the least. I have to say this. It just sounds horrible. The mixing is horrible. All right. Now, that is the biggest issue I have with this entire album. The production is just not good. And The Thirst Is Taken Over is like I don't know what it is. Is it a ballad? Is it a rock song? Is it like a hype song? What is it exactly? It starts off as a soft, calm song, and it was doing pretty decent until the drums and the guitar kicked in, and then suddenly it just it still sounded good, and I like the energy behind it. But like I said before, back then I didn't have good speakers, didn't have good headphones, right? So it didn't really matter to me. I'm listening to it. It just gets worse as the song goes on, and it just towards the end it just sounds almost unlistenable. It just becomes so muddy. And it's just all over the place. Like, for instance, what I mean is that towards when the guitar and stuff comes in, the guitar completely drowns out John's voice. It sounds like that's the lead vocals and John himself is the backup vocals. It drowns out any sort of vocals within the song. The drums itself too as well. The production, the mixing in general, it's all over the place. The vocals it just sounds like there's the backup vocals sometimes sound louder, sometimes they just don't make sense where they mix it, and it's really evident towards the end of the song. It's like when they were like, "I want to drink you in," that part is just so. It's too much, in my opinion. It's just too much. And it's to the point where even towards the end of the song, I have to kind of turn it down because it just sounds too loud. I can't hear it. The vocals get drowned out. Now, you apply that to the rest of the songs that I was saying, it kind of makes sense. The same issue I had with this song is in Earth Invasion as well. The chorus, I just can't really hear who is talking. They're talking at the same time, and it just sounds too complicated. It sounds complex. And it's not in a good way. There's no order. There's no structure to it, at least in my opinion. It just sounds too muddy. The guitar itself also, it just sounds too distorted as well. Like, they put too much mixing into the guitar itself. And like, there's one thing for the guitar to be too loud, but when it's too loud and it sounds too distorted and mixed, it just like doesn't flow well. The drums, the bass, everything was just out of order, which is really what hurt the song, because the concept of the song is so good and I like the lyrics. It really is a powerful song with so much emotion behind it, especially like towards the end. Had it not been for the mixing, this would have been a solid S tier song because the buildup was worth it towards the middle, towards the end. It was slowly building up and it had a good progression of the song itself. So it was actually being structured properly composition wise, but the mixing and it just got hurt so much. It's to the point where it actually sounds like a demo. I don't talk this much bad about like Skillet, especially from the past few albums, but this is my opinion. I gotta say this. It's probably like their worst album because of this glaring issue. It's the problem I don't like about this album specifically itself is the fact that, I would understand it if this was their first album. This is their technically fifth album, right? When they released this, they were veterans into the music scene, right? So it would make sense for if it was their first album to sound kind of bad, or these issues to be in the first few albums. But this album sounds similar to Deeper. That's the style they were going for, kind of experimental. This is my opinion, right? Because there was a lot of keyboard mixing. There was a lot of experimentation going on, right? But Deeper did it better. They didn't go over the top. So and yet Deeper is an older album. and I'm sorry, not deeper. Sorry, hey you, I love your soul. I'm thinking about the song deeper. Sorry, but what I'm saying is, hey you, I love your soul. Yeah, it was a second album, right? And this is their fourth album, technically fifth, I guess, fourth studio album, right? So they should have been well into this to understand, and I get it. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. They didn't mix it, but it's just kind of crazy, honestly, how crazy mixed it was. And that's the biggest issue I have with this. And then you apply it to songs like Eating Me Away, heavily mixed, Alien Youth, moderately mixed in my opinion, Kill Me, Heal Me, heavily mixed. That's the issue I was saying with Kill Me, Heal Me. The end of the song itself, the guitar did the same thing as well. It was just like, wow, 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 wow. It was too loud. It felt like there was no bass in that song at all. It was too much treble, right? I'm not a music major. I'm sorry. It was too rough sounding. It not in a good way, and the vocals were being drowned out as well. So that was the issue with the end of Kill Me, Heal Me, and now it's the same issue with The Thirst Is Taking Over. It's not their fault, and maybe it's not a good reason to put them as like say it's their worst album, but I just can't. It's hard. It's hard for me to listen to this. The nostalgia is really carrying this because if I didn't love the album so much and grew up with it, I would probably not want to listen to this. Then we got One Real Thing. This is another song. Now this is let me see. Now let me organize this. Hold on. I think This Is Taking Me Over is better than Kill Me, Heal Me. I think the One Real Thing is uh I gotta say, y'all might not like this, but I think it might be a B. Nah. Nah, I don't think it's a B. If it was in between A and B, I'd put it there. This song is just like it's the same thing as You Are My Hope. This does not belong in the album. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill. This one I feel especially strong on. This is the one song on the album that just completely does not belong on this album. It doesn't feel like it belongs there at all. It doesn't make sense at all. Lyrically speaking, it doesn't. It just doesn't sound like it fits the rest of the album. The sound quality wise, it actually is tolerable the right word? The mixing is not an issue here, which is even more of a reason why it doesn't belong here. But it just sounds like a regular radio rock song. That it's not. It doesn't fit the rest of the album, in my opinion, and I will stand by that because it just does not fit the album itself. The song itself is really good. It's solid, and it sounds closer to modern Skillet than most of the songs on here because it really just it flows properly, like kind of similar to that of Awake, because it's not complicated, it's not complex, it's not crazy, it's just a really straightforward rock song. So, and that's why I don't think it fits the album really well. The album seems really complicated and sophisticated, and this song's just, and this and You Are My Hope just kind of seem simple in comparison. The mixing is pretty good, that's why I say it's A, and the song itself is not bad at all. It's not a strong song by any means, it's kind of just, it's alright. I like it. I think it's catchy, but you could definitely tell it's an old Skillet song just by certain things they say. The issue that I have with the rest of the album does not really apply to this one, in my opinion. It wasn't that crazy, but I don't know. The reason I just don't think it's like higher than everything else, even like the rest of these songs, even though they have glaring issues, and this one doesn't really have an issue, I just still stand by that belief that this song just does not belong on this album. In fact, I don't even know where I would put this on because it wouldn't fit. I don't think it would fit in Collide. I don't think it would fit Invincible. I don't think it would fit Comatose, or maybe Awake, but I just don't think it would have fit on any of these albums. Maybe Hey You, I just don't know. So we going with Stronger. All right, Stronger. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. This is probably the worst song on the album. Not that it's a bad song. It's still good. But this is the song that is, in my opinion, the most forgettable. This one has just as much of an issue as like the rest of the album itself, with the mixing being a problem. I see what they were trying to do here, and I understand that they were trying to mix it up, but it just does not sound right to me. The intro is it's interesting to say the least. But the riff, I strongly do not like it. I gotta say that and then him saying my skin is my disguise, it hurts my ears. I understand they're trying to mix it up, but that intro just it just makes me feel gross. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like there's a bug crawling in my ear. My skin is my disguise. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say those words so badly to Skillet. I love Skillet, but I'm trying to be as honest as I can. I don't like I don't like that. I do like how strong it is. It's like this album's version of "You're Powerful" from Invincible. It has a really strong sounding sound, and it's like really empowering. It's powerful. It's a banger, but it's no emotional attachment to it. There's no nostalgia behind it. There's nothing really crazy, and of course the mixing is the issue. So the production. So after applying what I apply with the rest of the album to this, as far as production is concerned, it makes sense why I would have to kind of just judge it solely based on lyrics and all that, and even the lyrics just aren't that great in my opinion. I like the lyrics. I do. It's just like it's just not really well structured. The composition is just also really not good in my opinion. I don't know, man. I just don't particularly. I don't hate the song. I like it, but it's just compared to the rest of the album, it just doesn't make sense for me to put it above anything else. Even Vapor is better. All right, so ripping me off. Hmm. All right, this is interesting. This is an interesting one. I know many people might not agree with it as being S tier. I'm not sure if I myself agree with it being S tier, but there is one thing about it that stands out more than anything else on the album. I can actually feel more on this song than I can probably any other song on the album, in the sense that I can definitely understand what John is saying, and he's conveying this message to me very perfectly. The only other song that really makes me feel this much like I can understand it perfectly is the next song I will go over. Uh, but this one is really clear. I personally do not like the idea of songs being handed to me like the lyrics. Like if they're just walking through the song with me, telling me everything. I like to imagine it as like being a poem. Like the song "More Faithful," that was a beautiful, perfect example of what I like in the lyrics. It's just like everything flows. It's like a poem. It's very calm. It's very soothing. And even if it needs to be more, it makes sense. This is a good example. You can feel the emotion behind it, and normally I don't like being walked through the song, like I just said. But this is an exception because of the fact that I really like how much he's really explaining it. I like this one. This is an exception, okay? Now the whole "you say that God is dead, but you're ripping me off" part is really strong because this really strongly emphasizes the religious themes. And with Alien Youth, the concept of itself being tied to religious themes in general, it fits better on this album than most. The mixing sounds like it belongs here. I'd say the mixing is like moderately mixed, which is I guess a good thing compared to most of the album. So I don't think it's overly mixed, but I think it still could have been mixed a little bit better. I like the lyrics. I think it's a good song. I don't. Plus, I kind of want to put something in S tier. I don't know if there's anything really worthy. Like if there was A and S, I would put it in between. But I don't know if I would say specifically S tier. But I don't think it's A. I think it's higher than A. All right, so yeah. Let's see. Will you be there? I wonder how much time I spent on this. Okay, "Will You Be Here" for sure is the best song on the album. I don't even know if that's a debate. It should not be a debate. This is the best song on the album for sure. "Will You Be There." This is as good as it gets. I say that because it's still not a perfect song, and even that, this song still has the issue with the rest of the album. It seems to be a common trend towards the end of the song is where it just blows over and it becomes too much. This is the same thing in this game in this song. It's the same thing. Towards the end of the song, it just blows up. It sounds too much. I can't understand what's happening, and I love it. I think it's really good, but same thing like I said before. I had bad headphones, bad speakers, so it didn't matter to me. Now that I'm listening to it, I can't hear what they're saying towards the end. But putting that aside, the lyrics themselves are really beautiful. It sounds wonderful. It is a really good song. Really beautiful, really emotional. You can feel it. I think this has probably my favorite part of the entire album in this. What is it? The bridge? The part where, towards the end of the song. "Are you saying so? Yeah. I gotta believe. Are you saying yeah? When your love comes down, I can rest my eyes, feel your love and grace falling." Yeah, that part right there. That part right there is probably my favorite part of the entire album. It's just so beautiful. you could feel the emotion. You could feel it. I feel it. I get chills sometimes listening to it. I'm just like, wow. And then after all that, he calms down and he says, "As I fall to sleep," and I'm like, wow, that was beautiful. And it's like I want to fall asleep listening to it, so it makes me feel something. Um, let me see. Let me see what else. Yeah, it was a really good duet, and I really wish they could have done something similar to that for the rest of the album. It's just like when Corey does talk, I'm assuming that's Corey, right? When Corey does talk, right, it's very rare. I really wish they would have, uh, they do it way more now, but I wish they would have collaborated way more in that essence because you can hear her in Earth Invasion, right? But you can't really hear her. This is more of yeah, she taking the lead. She's taking the lead. So in like Earth Invasion, she was the backup, and here it's like a duet. It's beautiful. Um, and it's when I say it's as good as it's gonna get, I mean like the rest of the album doesn't really offer anything to where to this. It doesn't hold a candle to this. Is what I'm saying. I guess that's all I gotta say about that. I'm not really sure if I want to, but that's by far the best song on the album. And I was thinking hard about this. I was like, really, should this really be the best on here? But I'm like, why shouldn't it be? It's really good. It's really good. Even with despite the ending, it's still a really good song. I and I like it fades out. I'm a sucker for fading out songs. I would even put it as a favorite. So here's "Come My Way." "Come My Way" it's weird. It's a weird song to put it in a place. I really don't know where to put this song. I guess um I guess here. I really don't know where to place this song. I think that's pretty fair. It's a good song for an outro. The last song on the album, yeah, it's pretty good. Uh, the outro, the last song on the album, should definitely be something that you remember. It's kind of funny though the fact that this is like potentially this is perhaps the softest song they have ever made because this is the only song that I can think of in my head right now that has absolutely no drums, no guitar, no bass. It's literally just piano the entire time. So this perhaps may be the softest song that Skillet has ever released, and I find it funny because this is the last song before their heaviest album. So it's funny. But I like this song. I used to actually go to sleep to the song. It used to be one of the songs I used to sleep to. It was kind of like ASMR to me. It's just relaxing. Just go to sleep to it. It's really peaceful. He doesn't go like, he doesn't scream. He doesn't yell. He just, it flows. It's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. Um, it kind of gives me the sense of belonging, of longing, belonging. It's a weird hollow feeling. So I can definitely feel. That's why I say it's a good song because it just that's why I think it does fit on this album. It's weird. It does fit the album in a sense, despite the fact that it is not heavy, because of the fact that it just feels like it belongs. This is just one of those things that you just kind of have to feel. I don't know how to explain this one. You can hear the religious themes in here. This one is really good. It sounds closer to older Skillet as it is than it does modern Skillet. So you could hear bits and pieces like ripping me not ripping me off. Where is it? One Real Thing and what else? What else? Will You Be There? These sound closer to modern Skillet, at least in my opinion. And then have songs that are really like that sound like old Skillet, like the one I was just talking about, "Come My Way," right? So you could definitely see this is the last real album Skillet had before they finally transitioned over. I say that too because as soon as Collide starts, John completely changes his voice. He doesn't do the soft, high pitched voice anymore. It completely changes it off. So this is the last time you really hear him speak like that. And I don't know, for better or worse, it's a change that they. It's just a change overall. I do miss it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That is my tier list right here. There's a lot of A songs, right? And I feel like I was just being generous in a sense. If I put an in between, this would be way more diverse. But I think this is pretty good. There's no C songs, even though I feel like there should be. But yeah, here we go. This is my list. I will continue to make more. I'm trying to think. What can I say now? Yeah, of course, I'm gonna do Collide. I'm gonna do Comatose. Gonna do Awake. I'm gonna finish the rest of this. So in due time as well. Don't think I forgot about it. Anything else I want to say about this album? Uh, I know I said it's probably their worst album. I know some people just don't like Hey You I Love Your Soul. I I think Hey You I Love Your Soul is a strange album. It's probably their weirdest album because it just sounds like they didn't know what they were doing. Compared to like seeing what came after and what came before, it's just like a really random place to change their style. And it seems the exact same thing like here. This is like the equivalent of Hey You I Love Your Soul because it's so random. It just not even actually. Now that I think about it, it makes sense because Invincible was leading towards more of a futuristic style, so it kind of does make sense. It does make sense, but coming from like their post grunge like pure just raw sound, and then going into really heavily edited, really heavily mixed Hey You I Love Your Soul. Yeah, I guess that's what will make it the weirder one. But I personally I still think this is their quote unquote worst album, maybe. It's just that there's really no strong hitters on here besides Will You Be There, and everything else is really just it's held back by the mixing, right? Even if the mixing was good and they fixed a lot of the issues, I don't particularly think, maybe except the Thirst is taken over, that any of these other songs would pretty much change because the album just has a bunch of random songs on there, in my opinion. There's just a bunch of random songs on this album. Um, so yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say about this. Thank you guys for watching. Do I want to say anything else? Like I said before at the beginning, I'm still doing instrumentals, karaoke's. I decided to do shorts now. I found out how to use shorts, and I've just been experimenting with different styles. I know somebody said that they didn't really like my Resistance mix. I get that. I could take criticism, okay? But I'm still, I try at least. I want to mix it up. I don't want every song to be metal. I don't want every song to be rock, whatever. But I'm still going to keep uploading more on there. And don't know if I want to do a summer mix. I don't think anybody cared for it or liked my summer mixes before. So I understand, I should probably stick to what I do best. But I don't know. I just can't. I always want to experiment and try something new. Anyways, I know I'm ranting on about this now. The video is already over, so thank you guys for watching. So, please like, comment, subscribe. If there's any other questions, let me know. Again, one more thing, I don't hate this album by any means. I love this album. I still love this album, even despite all I've said about this. But I have to criticize it in a way that makes sense and it's fair without bias. Because if I'm just gonna go off of favoritism, then this whole tier list thing is just useless. Everything would just be in favorites. So don't think I hate any of these songs or anything. I like them, okay? I know most people would probably just straight up say they hate them. I don't hate any Skillet song. There's songs I feel better with than others, but this album in general is just good for me. But from a neutral standpoint, it's probably their worst one. So next time will be Collide. I'm really excited to do that one, and I'm really, really excited to get to Comatose and Awake. And yeah, you'll see it happen next time. So thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.